Some films push boundaries, but Pedro Almodóvar's Matador didn't just push it, tore them wide open. Released in 1986, at a time when Spain was redefining itself after decades of dictatorship, Matador combined sex, violence, religion, and death in ways no one had ever dared to show. It was provocative, erotic, and deeply unsettling, and quickly became one of the most controversial films of the 1980s. But why did this Spanish thriller spark such outrage? And how did it cement Almodóvar's reputation as the most daring filmmaker of his generation? The film starred a powerful ensemble of actors who later became icons of Spanish cinema. Antonio Banderas, in one of his early breakout roles, playing Ángel, a young law student with violent impulses and repressed desires. Assumpta Serna as Maria Cardinal, a former lawyer turned femme fatale, whose obsession with sex and death drives the story. Nacho Martinez as Diego Montes, a retired bullfighter haunted by his past, struggling with impotence and a fascination for death. Each actor brought a raw, fearless energy to the screen. In particular, Serna and Banderas pushed themselves into shocking, uncharted territory, performing scenes that blurred the line between eroticism and brutality. Diego Montes is a former flack, forced into early retirement after being, who finds sexual gratification by viewing. Among the students in Diego's bullfighting class is Ángel, a diffident young man who suffers from Diego's song. During one episode of Vertigo in the practice ring, Ángel has a vision of a woman killing a man during sex with an ornamental silver, stabbing at the base of the neck as a matador kills a bull. After class, Diego asks Ángel whether he is homosexual, noting that he is not experienced with women. Ángel says he is not and vows to prove himself. Later that day, Ángel follows Diego's girlfriend, Eva, to a neighborhood alley, making a fumbling attempt to rape her. When Ángel shows shame, a disdainful Eva slaps him. As she leaves, Eva trips in the mud and gashes her cheek. At the sight of her blood, Angel faints. Guilt-ridden, Angel tells his domineering mother that he needs psychotherapy. A member of Sen, she insists he go to, and as a condition of living in her home, discussion with a priest does not satisfy him. Angel goes to the police station to confess to rape. When Eva is brought to the station, she dismissively says Angel ejaculated without penetrating her and declines to press charges. Angel is as humiliated by the account of his impotence as by being dismissed as harmless. Alone with the police detective, Ángel notices photos of dead men with the same wound administered by the woman in his vision. He confesses to having killed them. The detective then asks about two missing women who were also students of Diego, and Ángel confesses to killing them as well. Although Angel leads the police to the two women's bodies, buried on Diego's property, the detective is not convinced. He questions how Angel could have buried them there without Diego's knowledge, finds that Angel has an alibi for one murder, and discovers that Angel, Assumpta Serna, plays Maria Cardinal, a serial killer who kills during sex with an ornamental silver hairpin, stabbing at the base of the neck as a matador kills a bull. Antonio Banderas plays Ángel, who confesses to murders by two serial killers that he did not commit. Carmen Mora plays Julia, Angel's psychiatrist, who tries to protect him from murder charges stemming from his false confessions. Julieta Serrano plays Berta, Angel's domineering mother, who tells him to go to Mass and confession rather than psychotherapy. The much younger Eva, desperately in love with Diego, is eager to please him. When they have sex, Diego asks Eva to lie perfectly still and pretend to be dead. She complies without any qualms. Meanwhile, Angel's lawyer, Maria Cardinal, who wears an ornamental silver hairpin, the woman in Angel's vision, suspects that Diego killed the two women. Maria sets Angel up with a psychiatrist and tells him to stop confessing to murders. Aware that Diego is stalking her, Maria leads him to a secluded warehouse, allowing him to catch her and passionately kiss her. During the kiss, Diego catches Maria's hand as she is about to stab with her harpoon. They recognize and acknowledge the killer instinct in each other, both having committed multiple murders the police are investigating. Maria then takes Diego to her remote home, where she has collected memorabilia related to Diego since she first saw him kill a bull. Later, at Diego's home, Eva eavesdrops and overhears the two set up a plan, realizing they are serial killers. When Maria leaves, Eva tells Diego he must stay with her, since she knows his secret. Diego advises her to forget him, saying he does not want to harm her. Eva then confronts Maria, warning her away from Diego and threatening to disclose her secret. Maria scoffs at Eva's threats, saying that Eva cannot possibly satisfy Diego. Maria then goes to Diego, saying they are running out of time and must carry out their plan immediately. While Eva is denouncing Diego and Maria, Angel's psychiatrist calls to tell the detective that Angel has seen Diego and Maria in danger in a trance. Using powers, Angel guides the police, Angel, Eva, and the psychiatrist to Maria's house. Just as they arrive, an eclipse begins, and they hear a gunshot. Quickly entering, they find both Maria and Diego together, naked and dead. During sex, Maria stabbed Diego with her hairpin at the base of the neck as she shot herself in the mouth with a pistol. Angel laments that he could not save Diego, while the detective says the killers look happy. The outrage began almost immediately. Matador featured graphic depictions of sex and murder that many critics called indecent and perverse. Several scenes shocked audiences worldwide, such as Maria strangling lovers at the moment of orgasm, or Diego's obsession with bullfighting rituals tied to sexual pleasure. Censors in multiple countries, including Italy, Ireland, and even parts of Spain, attempted to block or heavily cut the film, calling it dangerous and morally corrupt. Religious groups in particular condemned it for mixing Catholic imagery with sexual violence, seeing it as a direct attack on faith and tradition. Even in France, known for embracing provocative cinema, the film caused heated debates over whether Almodóvar had crossed the line from art into exploitation. But the controversy only fueled the film's cult status. The bans and censorship drew more attention, making Matador one of the most talked about films of the 1980s. Today, Matador is seen as a turning point in Almodóvar's career. It was the film where he fully embraced his obsession with desire, death, and taboo subjects. The movie also marked the beginning of Antonio Banderas' long collaboration with Almodóvar, a partnership that would eventually launch Banderas into Hollywood stardom. Critics now argue that Matador was ahead of its time, exploring ideas about sexuality, obsession, and repression that mainstream cinema would only dare to touch years later. While it was banned in several countries at release, it's now celebrated as a classic of Spanish cinema, often studied in film schools for its bold narrative and shocking symbolism. Almodóvar himself has said that Matador reflected the spirit of Spain's cultural rebirth. In the 1980s, wild, liberated, but also haunted by its violent past. Matador remains a film that refuses to be ignored. It challenged audiences, shocked censors, and redefined what cinema could dare to show. 3 decades later, it still sparks debate, Was it a masterpiece of erotic thriller filmmaking, or simply too extreme for its own good? One thing is certain. Pedro Almodóvar proved with Matador that he was never afraid to stare directly into the darkness and invite us to look with him. If you enjoyed this breakdown of a band classic, don't forget to follow for more deep dives into the most controversial films in history.